Well, I think that, the use of supplements are very, very important. They really are. And there are many of them that can really enhance a lot of function and help with pain and depression and so forth. So I have no problem with them. And I know that, they're not FDA regulated. You have to be very careful where they come from. And some of them can be contaminated with heavy metals, where they're manufactured. But if you research them very carefully and go to very reputable companies, they can be very helpful.
Are there any favorites that you have as far as ones we know can increase aspects of brain functioning? I know in addition to just vitamins and minerals, there's this whole field of nootropics.
Yeah.
But there's a lot, and there's like studies that say, oh, it works in rats, but we don't know if it does anything in humans. What, from
Well,
your
there are
perspective, what do we know?
there are some that are supposedly enhance cognitive function, and they increase succinylcholine and acetylcholine derivatives, and that's basically the idea. And they try to inhibit inflammation of the brain and increase the functions of the mitochondria that produce energy, the sources of energy in the body and in the brain. And there are studies that show that
But yeah, as far as the supplements or nootropics, any favorites of yours?
Well, I don't know if it's a good idea to mention particular companies, because that might create
Oh
trouble.
no, or just whether it's different vitamins or minerals, or not necessarily patented
Mhm.
brands or anything, but just as far as what has good research on it.
Well, there's some evidence, for example, that a very common substance in food, saffron, which is used a lot in Indian cooking and in Asian cooking and so forth, it can have a very potent antidepressant effect, actually. And there are some studies that indicate that saffron taken on a daily basis can be as powerful as the commonly prescribed antidepressant medications. And
Wow,
it's perfectly safe. So you have nothing to lose. You can get, saffron substances, tablets, and so forth, and mix it in with food or just take it as a pill, and that can be very powerful.
very cool.
There are
Do,
a lot of things out there, that may be very helpful. And I know that, there is some problems between the pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry and people that go heavily into just using, supplements of various kinds, because again, they're not, carefully regulated. And maybe you don't want them to be too carefully regulated, because most of them
sure.
don't exist.
Do we
Real.
know anything as far as the effects of different, whether it's vitamins, supplements, on the EEG, or even have you seen anything as far as anything that can increase the efficacy of neurofeedback training, or are
There's
we not there yet?
some people that, especially children that have attentional problems, that if you increase the vitamin D3, that it helps to normalize to some extent their EEG patterns, and it becomes more
Interesting.
alert. D3 is very, very, see, we don't make D3s. You have to get it from sunlight and from, food. So a lot of people are deficient, especially people in northern latitudes, because there's very little sunlight in the wintertime. And so if you go outside, in a warm climate, and expose yourself to the sun 10 or 15 minutes a day, and that's not enough to do a lot of damage to your skin. That boosts the vitamin D production quite a bit. Or you can take the supplement. So that's an important one. And the B vitamins are very important. A for vision is very important. Lutein, Lutein, I think it's pronounced, is very important in terms of trying to forestall macular degeneration in the eyes, and also for floaters. So there's some really good supplements out there that seem to be very helpful.
Wasting my time.
You just can't help yourself, can you?